Hey there. Well, it's well past midnight and I'm staring into my camera. Yeah. Couldn't sleep. Hour and a half in bed. Listening to, well, this ear ringing or my heartbeat in this ear. Yeah, I've got a hearing loss, and some days that ringing is louder. So laying there all that time, I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I'll make a vlog about this in the morning. The longer I lay there thinking about it, still not able to fall asleep, I could see it going off in different directions. I hope this doesn't turn into a marathon, because I could think of several directions for it. But yeah. Well, let's start with this one. Not what I intended, but it does have to do with my hearing. I've got a Samsung Galaxy S4. I got it at the end of February, beginning of March. It was just before the S5 came out, so there were some good deals out there. And I had a $50 rebate from Best Buy if I bought a phone from them before the end of the year. So I got it for practically nothing. And I was ready for an upgrade anyway. And my Motorola Razr is still working. It seemed to be slower though. So I still use it for an MP3 player. A couple other things. GPS. But in order to get the maps, so I guess I don't use it for GPS. I'd use it for my exercise app though, But anyway, the Galaxy S4 has this thing called Adapt Sound. It's an app within the phone that you plug your earbuds in, park them in your ears, and it goes through a hearing test. It goes through a whole range of tones, just like a hearing test. And you push the button when you hear the tone, so it registers the sensitivity of both of your ears. Obviously, it's building a profile for what your loss is within each ear. And it then adjusts the sound. Obviously, it only works with the earbuds. That's just how it's set up. But listening to music on it, I listened before and after that Adapt Sound, and the sounds are richer. I can actually hear music better, so it's great. It's fantastic. So I'm glad I got it for that anyway. I was setting it, I set it up originally back in March, but my ears were ringing more today, and I decided to check it out and run it through the process again. So I did that. It was, I don't know, mid-afternoon, I guess. Yeah, late afternoon, mid-late afternoon. And then while I was getting that, I was getting email notifications of, comments on Bloggerheads. Yes, I spent part of the morning and the afternoon on Bloggerheads getting tied into a combat, yeah. I mean, I hate to think of it as combat. A comment war with Psychobabble. Well, I was poking at him, but I was responding to what he had to say. Now, in this instance, he was not initially addressing me, but I could see what I saw as flaws, and of course it's up to me to point out when he's wrong, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is, isn't it? So, yeah, that's what I did for the first part of the day. Not the whole time, but in and out. I know. Tune it out. Tune out his comments, and then, ignore them. But, when you do that, there are things that you do miss. I mean, he left a comment on Christine's blog Sunday in which he had a picture of a wood cart. I know, what's a wood cart? Well, it's an old piece of industrial equipment from a plant for maybe a lumber yard for moving wood, putting long pieces of wood and then transporting them, through the plant or through the yard. And I recognized it right away because back in the 70s, I worked with those. In the early 70s up to 75 or so, I worked in a furniture plant, furniture factory, building cabinets. And we would sometimes move cabinets, but move the lumber through the plant on those carts. So it was a cool reminder. And here he is using them to make coffee tables. And I was really impressed with that. I thought that was really cool. staining them, finishing them off, and making tables out of them. So it was a cool reminder of my past. I could see me need having something like that. So yeah, you know, so if you start ignoring all comments, the things you're gonna miss, you know. But yeah, I know, tune them out. But yeah, so the rest of the afternoon I was playing with the phone, doing some other stuff. But going to bed tonight, you know, the ringing in my ears. Oh, here's a question for you. I told you this thing's going in all directions. Hope it doesn't turn into a marathon. Did I say that already? I don't know. This may be achieving its goal. I'm getting tired, so who knows. Do you sleep on your side or your back? And if you sleep on your side, which side? Yeah. I can't sleep on my back. Well, I can, but I could, other than the time I spent in the hospital, I could probably count on one hand the number of times I've slept through the night on my back. I'm a side sleeper. But with this ringing in my ear, I'm either, well, I'm starting to develop ringing in this ear as well. But when I lay on my left side, covered up, well, then the ringing gets louder. And on a day like today where it is loud already, well, then that's louder yet. And when I lay on my right side and this gets sealed off, I hear my heartbeat. Now, heartbeat can be a calming thing if it's someone else's heartbeat. I mean, you can even fall asleep to it. But your own, at least not my own, it's as distracting as the ringing, you know. So, and now I have a memory foam pillow, so, and that seals it right off. So rather than putting my arm under the pillow like I want to do, I end up putting it on top of the pillow on my head on my arm, which I can't do for very long. And at least it prevents it from sealing, you know, and getting that dum 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 dum. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I know I've talked about this ringing before and the damage to my left ear. But I'm going to talk about it again because I'm awake. Yeah. It's probably close to 25 years ago. I was leaving to go to work, reached for the kitchen door, looked right at the doorknob and watched my hand go past it and slam into the door 6 inches away from the doorknob. And thinking, turning and saying, "Did you see that? That's really weird." Went down the stairs, went out the door, went to the garage, got on my motorcycle, drove to work. 12-minute or so ride. A couple of traffic lights, different speed limits, driving fine. The last traffic light before work, I went to put my foot down, a red light, went to put my foot down and almost fell over. I misjudged the distance to the ground and thought, whoa, that was weird. Drove the last quarter mile to work, punched in, started 10 or 15 minutes later, and 20 minutes after that, my boss said, "Ken, is there a problem here?" "No, Harry, why?" "Because you haven't moved in 15, 20 minutes. You're just staring at this desk and you haven't moved." And when I turned to look at him, I almost fell over. And I couldn't focus on him. And he's like, whoa, he caught me, walked me into the office, and I really am surprised. To this day, I wonder why I wasn't sent for a drug test. I was a truck driver. At this time, I was working on the loading dock, but I was a truck driver, and we got random tested or tested if there was an indication that there was some drug use. But then again, you know, I was union steward, not that they gave me any special privileges, but I was the one that was talking or counseling or talking with the people who were taking these tests and failing, because there were 2 or 3 in all the time that I was steward who failed a test for marijuana, and one guy who, as it turned out, had quite a coke habit. He was able to regulate enough that he could get, you know, be clean for the tests. He ended up getting fired. But I guess, you know, they figured, well, no, I'm real reliable. Yeah. Any event, he walked me to the office, sat me in a chair, and let me call home for a ride. And in that time that I sat there, it was surreal. Everything was warping and it was weird. And anytime someone spoke, I'd turn my head and practically fall over. And in fact, at one point, I thought I could stand up. Just like, you know, Ken, why don't you stay, because I finished the phone call. Ken, why don't you just stay there and wait for your wife to pick you up? Well, no, it's okay. And I stood up and fell down. Fell right on the floor. That's practically in tears. I probably was in tears. It was that bad. It was bad. Well, as it turned out, I had an inner ear infection. Left ear. No equilibrium for several days. I was in bed for 3 days or so, and then out of work total for a week before I went back. And from that day on, I've had this ringing in my ear. And it has gotten worse over the years. It's gotten louder. And then there are days when sounds, well, any day, sounds will trigger the volume to increase. Traffic sounds, lawnmower, the coffee grinder, listening to the radio, listening to music, watching TV, realizing I can't, and I've always, for quite a while, had a hard time sometimes making people's voices out over background noises. So turning the volume up on the TV and rewinding the DVR to check out what someone said, and then the TV's louder after that, which is not good for the ears. And then, as it turns out, I've developed a ringing in my right ear. Over the past couple of years, it's become noticeable, and it's probably been building all along. It's nowhere near as loud as this ear, but it's there. It's there, and it's getting louder. So now it's when I hear that heartbeat, it's with a tiny ringing behind it as well. Yeah. Going to sleep with music sometimes helps, on those nights when it's really loud. Most nights I fall asleep pretty quickly, but on those nights when it's loud and I'm up like this, music will help, like a classical music or new age, something that's soothing, But yeah. And so I'm up like this talking to you about it. But like I said, I think it's achieving its goal. I'm achieving my goal because I am getting tired. I think I can go to sleep, but it's after 1 o'clock now. So I'll edit this pretty quickly, I think, and if it doesn't look like it'll take too long to edit, maybe I'll upload it to YouTube tonight and then embed it in the morning, because it'll take a while for it to upload to YouTube. Otherwise, I'll just do the YouTube thing in the morning. Check the site again. And yeah, I know. Stay away from psychobabble. I managed to do it for the rest of the day. I just stayed away from vloggerheads. I was, like when I think I said this when I was going, maybe I didn't. I don't know. Tired, But I was going through resetting the app again because of the ringing in my ear today. And I was, responding to comments on my phone, notifications, but I managed to pretty much stay away from the site. Yeah. Who wants to be mod? Spend all your time there, right? I don't know. Anyway, trying not to speak too loudly, so hopefully the camera picked this up. Kudos to you, or what's wrong with you if you watched it this long. Ciao, folks. Vlog on.